Shannon, if you want to pull it up. Okay, thank you, Shannon. So welcome everyone to the Fiber to the Home project. This is in regards to internet connectivity for the District of Snaihne. I'm Kylee Tarbell. I'm the Director of Economic Development for Mohawk Council. And also joining us is Rhonda Adams, Manager of Information Services. Next slide. So just to give an overview of the project and what we're going to be doing. So the MCA approved $3.7 million for the full implementation of Fiber to the Home for the District of Snaihne. Ontario East is our project manager lead, also including economic development and information services. We've also been in the process of working with Access for community training, specifically for this construction phase. We've already hosted one training certification course with 6 community members, to which they all passed. And we were in the process of hosting a second training certification, but unfortunately, due to the new COVID lockdown, we were unable to hold it. But we do intend on holding it in the near future. So for Snaihne, we do have an anticipated project timeline for 3 to 6 months to be fully operational. So we're looking at approximately a June timeline. Hopefully everyone cross your fingers for good weather. I've seen Penny Peters on here. Do not pray for snow, please. And we are just waiting for final approval for the other 2 districts. So essentially this project will be entirely for the northern portion. Next slide. So again, with the infrastructure itself, so MCA will own and operate the fiber infrastructure. That is currently what is being installed right now. The fiber lines will be buried in conduits, approximately 24,500 meters. That's just for the backbone, which is the main roads. So that does not include connectivity from the main road to every individual household. The fiber line will be open access in regards to the internet service providers, which is also referred to as an ISP. So what this means is everyone will have the choice of who they want as an ISP. We already know is very limited in the District of Snaihne, so we're just trying to have more options as well as have competitive pricing available to everyone. The network currently being built is to support a 1 gigabyte per household system. So again, because we are currently in construction, we haven't tested yet, but data speed for this portion is not yet determined. Next slide. So what to expect? So for our community members in the district, I'm sure you have already seen construction. We have just entered week 2. So construction along the side of the road on every street of Snaihne. Currently they are on River Road and School Road. So expect multiple bore drillings to be running simultaneously in different areas. So as I mentioned, we currently have 2. And in the next week or so, we will be incorporating a 3rd drill for the district. There will be no nighttime work on main roads. Work will be conducted Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until dusk time. There is potential traffic delays to ensure public safety of passage along the construction areas. So we do have traffic control for the main rig on River Road. In the event of inclement weather, work may be delayed. Next slide. So in regards to project status, we've already implemented surveying in ground infrastructure, locates in Ontario, on call, one call in Quebec. We've mailed out information packets for household and business connectivity. We're currently boring right now the backbones, so that's the main road areas, and we have 2 rigs in the community. So just to give you an idea, each rig is boring, oh, there's a typo, it's 400 meters each, so it's a total of 800 meters a day. So that's our target to ensure that we're done in a timely manner for that 26,500 meters. So far we have had just over 143 Snaihne households pre-register with us. We're still accepting interest from community. There's email. We also have it at the end of the presentation. So essentially what we're trying to gauge right now with the pre-registration is confirmation on our design map to make sure we identify everyone who wants internet connection. Next slide. So this video, we have a short little 2-3 minute video, and it's just showing you exactly kind of the work that's going on with the boring. So Shannon will be pulling that up on YouTube.
Yep, I'm just getting it set up here. Just 1 second.
And wetlands. As demonstrated in this video, conduits such as water, sewer, fiber, electric, and gas can be installed under very busy intersections without disruption of traffic. A small area is needed to set up the directional drilling equipment. This area can be strategically placed away from congestion and business activities. Before the directional drilling begins, the directional drilling crew pre-plans the bore path to carefully avoid obstructions such as other underground utilities. The horizontal bore begins with the directional drill bit entering the entrance pit. The entrance pit is used to contain and manage the drilling fluids. The directional drilling crew are in radio communication with each other throughout the entire process. The directional drill bit is tracked by a sonde, our radio detection device, housed within its extended connection to the directional drill pipe. The depth and pitch is sent to the surface and received by the walkover locating device. The locator then gathers and interprets the information and gives directions to the directional drill operator on which way to steer the drill bit. An experienced directional drilling crew can navigate and steer the drill bit up, down, right, left, and a combination of varying degrees of each to drill a desired horizontal bore path. The drilling crew has the ability to determine the exact depth and location of the drill bit at all times. A typical mid-sized directional drill uses a 4-inch drill bit to drill a pilot bore. The bore path is typically enlarged to 1.5 size the conduit that is being installed. In this installation, the bore path has to be enlarged to accommodate the conduit, and a reamer is attached to cut a larger diameter hole. The reamer is simply pulled through the existing bore path to enlarge the hole. As depicted in this video, and as with most directional drilling projects, very little of the normal city activities were interrupted during the conduit installation. After the bore path is enlarged, the conduit is simply pulled into place by the directional drill rig. This method of installing utilities has many benefits that include less disruption of commercial activities, less disruption of traffic, less site rehabilitation, and directional drilling can also be used to avoid damage to wetlands, streams, and for river crossings. Directional Technologies has installed miles and miles of conduit using directional drilling over the past 23 years. Call us today to bring that level of experience to your next trenchless conduit installation.
Thank you, Shannon. So that
The rise in
video
demand around
is just
pipeline
like an
infrastructures
overview
has
of the company that we have and the type of work that's being done. So currently on site for SNI is Ontario East. That's our project manager. They're also, oh, not yet. They're also hiring 2 interns, local interns for the duration of the project. So it's actually 2 interns who took the training certification. So that's exciting. The boring company is called Direct Bore. We also have a local contractor, DTC Trucking. They are assisting with traffic control and they are the heavy machine operator. And then internally, we're working with water and wastewater. John Adams is myself for economic development, Rhonda Adams for information services. And we're also working with environment, Curtis Lazor and Scott Peters. Next slide. So our next steps. Oh, too many. Just doesn't want to stay on this slide. There we go. So for our next steps, we're still continuing on with the boring for the backbone. So as mentioned, we have already started a section of River Road, School Road, Fisherman's Lane, Sunday Drive. So that's the area we're currently on. We're also going to be doing a water crossing near the ice bridge from Snaihne to St. Regis in the near future. And of course, we still have to do the last mile. So before we can connect to your homes, we have to lay all of the conduit all on the main roads first. So we're going to continue engaging with community and also ensuring everyone, every household, business, organization can sign up. So we did first round of mail outs, just kind of to gauge interest for signing up online and the pre-registration. So we will be issuing out more mail. Just unfortunately, due to COVID and the new lockdown restrictions, we are unable to go door to door at this time. So, you know, we're just trying to figure out a proper and safe way to get the information out. So the pre-registration, as I mentioned, is to just help gauge our map. So for example, if there's a private road that no residents on that private road want internet connection, then we will not be laying conduit down there. So we have to have consent. So that means another document confirming you actually want the connectivity and also permission to access your property. So currently the contractors are working in the ditches and within the easements near the water line. But in order for us to do the last mile to connect to your home, we do need your permission just to lay that line and connect it to your home. Next slide. Oh, other way. Okay. You're on mute, Rhonda. Can't hear you.
For anyone who has traveled through Snaihne and have seen the orange tubing that's popping up here and there and wondering what those are, this is what can potentially be placed in that where you're seeing the orange tubing popping out of the ground. So there may be a small pedestal that you see there on the left. There may be a cabinet. The larger cabinets will be primarily at intersections. I'm just going to admit a person. And then there's vaults, which the green box in the back there with the vents kind of depict, but the vaults that we have selected for this project look a little bit more along the lines of a tough tote that there is being pressed into the ground. So if you're seeing this, you know, kind of near, we tried to have them closer to fire hydrants, and, you know, they might be at the edge of your lawn or close by where the drill had to make an entry point. One of these types of cabinets are being placed on top of it.
Oh, okay. They're like that. One might be one of them. Like,
Okay, she muted. So next slide. Here's some pictures of the construction that's going on. So there's a sample of, that's Direct Bore's truck, and they're pulling along the big reels of the conduit that they're installing. And you'll see the picture there in front of the homemakers where the orange pipe is sticking out. I don't know why that one's so long. They did that today and I wasn't on site today. But I imagine they'll be either burying it or cutting it back. Because sometimes when they hit into a rock, which happened their first night over near Maggie King's driveway, they just end up digging up the ground and laying the pipe down inside instead of using the boring drills. Next slide. And there's a picture of the drill that's actually on site, and there's a picture of the backhoe that's being utilized. The backhoe is doing plenty of things. It's running around and doing one bucket into the ground to make the starting point for the drills, and then it could be running around and loading some more conduit on the truck, and, you know, running around and helping the drill get loose if it gets stuck. So the backhoe will be really moving around town within the next few weeks, just so you're cautious of it. And next to the drill, there's usually a large like pano van that's parked close to it. And inside of that pano van is a really big water tank that they're using to pipe into these drills that's helping them pipe through the ground. Next slide. So as you see in this picture, all of these little pink dots are an area where the piping is going to be popping out of the ground, or there's a connection point to get to your home. So every one of these little pink dots could be one of the smaller pedestals or a small little vault box that I describe as a tough tote being pressed into the ground. However, where you see the larger green dots, which are mainly at intersections, those will have a slightly larger cabinet placed in that area. So the green dot's just depicting that there's a junction point. It's mainly where three roads kind of connect. So it's a T in the road. So there's got to be a lot of fiber splicing. We might have 122 strands where it has to be split into, you know, a 64 strand and another amount in an area. So the cabinet's a little bit larger in those areas. Next slide. So right now we're just asking everyone to pre-register so that we can make sure that our design documents are thorough, that we're, you know, if there's an entire street where there doesn't seem to be anyone in interest, we'll try to figure out a way to get a hold of you guys. And if there really isn't interest, then we're probably not running any cable down that way. Just make sure that your friends and family know and send an email to show interest, because then if you have a pink dot that's showing on the map, you know, we'll validate, yes, this area of construction needs to carry through. And then we can communicate with you hopefully through that email for the rest of the process that needs to be done, which is when we do verify who the ISPs are, we'll send you the pamphlets on how you make sure that you're subscribing to them. And we'll send you the right, the access to your property, because when we know that you do want internet run to your home, then we do have to come in and we'll be running fiber optics. Either in some cases, we may be going up a pole and jumping across to get to your property, or in some cases, we'll be running it in the ground up to where we can get to your residence.
So that concludes our presentation. We wanted to open it up for questions, if there are any. And as Rhonda was running through, we would also like to note that the main areas look a little messy, but we will be going and cleaning them up. We will be fixing all the holes and beautifying the curbside appeal. So just for the interim, they're just trying to lay all of the conduit, and then our operator will be going behind. We have interns coming, we have additional laborers coming who will be cleaning that up.
It'll be seeded in the spring.
Yes. So please don't mind our mess for the interim. So we have a question. What choices are there for ISP, internet service provider? So at this time, that's what we are negotiating. So because it is open access, that means that any internet service provider who wants to provide internet service has the ability to do so. So again, we're in discussions with Mohawk Networks to connect with them at their points that meet the northern portion. So they are a potential ISP. Ontario East is a potential ISP. Cogeco could also show interest in being an ISP. So it's, we're in the process of establishing who those ISPs are going to be. So to answer, we don't have those choices yet, but we're working on it. What will the faster rates be? So the requirements of this is the rates have to be competitive. So unlike one of the service providers currently in Snaihne where they're continuously raising prices, there has to, oh, you mean upload, download speed. So we just want to make sure everyone has competitive. Rhonda, do you want to answer that question?
The network is being built for up to 1 gigabit. For the Snaihne portion, because the overall design of the entire network requires us to get all the way across to St. Regis and Cornwall Island and then get our feed from Cornwall before anything could even have the possibility of running gigabit to the home. But the network is being built for 1 gigabit. However, at this point, in this stage of the project, we are only working on Snaihne, and there's still always the question of where are we getting our connection from to feed Snaihne? Who do we have the availability from, and how much of a feed can we get for Snaihne right now? Once the overall full project is complete, which is all the way to Cornwall, that's when we'll get the much higher rates. But I'd imagine to start that we should be able to get something better than 5 megabytes per home, and hopefully, up to the 30 megabytes and 50 megabytes to start in Snaihne. If you do not get connected now, will there be a charge in the future to be connected to the infrastructure? Yes. This is why we are doing the call outs, is within the grant monies that we're working with right now, or the funding right now. We need to know that you want connection. And even if you don't necessarily want to subscribe to ISP, but it would be best if we brought the connection into your home right now, because otherwise when we're done with the project and everything, and 3 years down the road, you're saying, well, I want my house connected. The subscriber units are around $450, and we'd have no idea right now how much it's going to cost to run the fiber from the road to your home. So that would be all at your cost at a later date if you're not signing up now. You could just,
Hi, Joy. So if you did not receive an email from us confirming we received your email, then we did not receive it. So we sent confirmations we sent confirmation to everyone. So if you didn't receive something back from us, we did not receive your email to sign up.
so just send another email, Joyce, if we're trying to respond to all of them. It might not be in the same day, but we do respond to all.
Yeah, respond about 24 hours.
So just one thing to mention that I'm always looking for is, you might have someone in your family who don't necessarily know about technology or have an interest in it, maybe your dada or somebody, but if you can just, if you can foresee in the future that whoever's going to reside there eventually, that they're going to want internet, you might want to get that connection now. Or in the future, you're going to need your grandchildren to go there and do their Zoom for school. So just, put them on the list.
Yes, you don't actually have to access the infrastructure, but right now it's a free service that's being provided to community through our grant. So, we at least recommend you get the infrastructure ran to your house. That doesn't mean you have to buy, the modem and all of that. But we do just recommend at least get it connected to your home. So it doesn't cost you anything in the future if you change your mind.
The next comment there is it cost effective to have more people signed up? The more you have signed up, the lower the cost. It potentially does, because then we're bulk buying all of the fiber. So right now there is so much fiber to be purchased, and if we know every one of the homes, we get a better deal on the fiber that we buy, the strands of fiber on the reels.
Is there an initial installation fee for the households? So no, that's part of the grant. So that's why we're recommending that if you don't want internet connectivity right now, but maybe possibly down the road, that we still recommend that you get the infrastructure to your home. Because down the road, like after we pass your area, we're not going backwards. So, we have a very tight deadline for this. So we just have to keep moving forward. So once we're out of the district, they're going to be moving on to other districts. So we will not be able to re-maneuver the rigs. Because with COVID, it's been lovely, good time going through customs. So they have a lot of paperwork that they have to fill out every day to come to our community. Another question, what is the timeline you are planning to have the project completed all the way to Cornwall? So for right now, our funding for the entire 3 districts is not complete. We just have SNI approved for right now. So we're looking at possibly a June timeline, but realistically for the other 2 districts, it could take up to 2 years. But we're hoping faster than that. Joyce is asking, can a house get 2 connections, one for the school work and one for phones?
In the future, when your speeds are at a much higher rate, you wouldn't need to be subscribing to different connections. Like if we're getting to the point where you can get 50 meg to the home, or 100 or even a gigabit, you have tons of data capacity to support everything and anything in your house.
Rhonda, another question. What does the connectivity inside the home look like? Is it a wall outlet?
Along the lines. It would look along the lines as a DSL router. I know we usually recommend that it be plugged directly into a UPS. It's not too much bigger than a DSL router that you might have from Bell right now. It'll be an RJ45 jack. It'll be like a network cable looking computer cable connection. Thank you, Joyce.
Well, I'm glad we answered them. Thank you. And again, so Rhonda and I are at the SNI Rec. We're so grateful to the SNI Rec. They've opened up their facility to let us work out of there temporarily, and the contractors can use the bathroom and just somewhere warm. So if there are any questions or concerns from community, Rhonda and I are at the SNI Rec every day. We will accept, questions. If someone wants to have a conversation, we can come outside and talk to you. We are available for further explanations or any concerns. Rhonda Leonard is asking, what's the initial speed rate?
Leonard, that hasn't been confirmed at this point. What we are still trying to figure out is where is the main bandwidth feed coming from, and how big of a feed can we get to support all of SNI on it. So whatever we do find, whether whichever route that we get to gain our access through, we'll have to see like how much is available to us as the overall bandwidth that we subscribe to, that then gets split down into how many people are getting served within the SNI area. However, at the end of the 2 years of the bigger project, that's when, there should be availability of up to a gigabit.
Another question, will you be sending out consent forms to everyone, or do we get one at SNI Rec? So those who have pre-registered with us, we're just finalizing the consent form. So those who have emailed us, we will be emailing you a PDF fillable form for you to complete, and then you can just save it and email it back to us. For those who don't have access to email or internet, we will be mailing one out to everyone and working with SNI Rec of establishing a drop box during the day. So community members of SNI can drop it off at the rec center in the drop box.
Any more questions?
Unless, of course, COVID goes away in the next couple of weeks. Is MCA going to be doing its own maintenance? So that's also what we're establishing. So part of the training and certifications that we're providing to community in regards to upkeep and maintenance of the actual infrastructure. So right now we're working on just capacity development and training internally for this possibility.
Yes, the next question, will MCA be charging the potential ISPs for their access? There will be a service fee for running on the open access network.
But that also ties into the maintenance aspect of the infrastructure. Thank you, Leonard. So again, we are implementing all COVID protocols with all of the contractors, with ourselves. If there are any issues to address, please let us know. Public safety is a priority. Yeah. So are there any more questions? No. Okay, so we will be presenting at general meeting. I'm not sure when that is, with another project update. So hopefully we'll have some more pictures to show and some more updated stats.
Our next general meeting is January 28th.
Thank you, Toby. So we will be presenting January 28th. Okay, I think that's all of the questions. We want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And again, if you have any questions, by all means, please come to the rec or email us FTTH, the abbreviations for Fiber to the Home, FTTH@akwesasne.ca.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.